Yeah, welcome into the Friday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everybody's Friday morning is off to a beautiful start here. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How we doing? What's going on?
Well, I'm not doing as well as you. I mean, I'm worried about you being able to do the show with this Ryder Cup.
I may not be able to. America, it's your time today, baby. Let's go play some golf this
USA
weekend.
Network there. I mean, look at these guys. Look at this guy in his weird, ill-fitting polo. He is pumped up. What an athlete.
That is Keegan Bradley. That is the captain of the United States Ryder Cup team. Let's show a little respect around here.
Man, I mean, he's got the nice blue khakis. And this is these guys are just amazing.
Tally-ho! Play some golf today. The big weekend. United States taking on Europe, the Ryder Cup, and it gets going. We got live sports on while we're doing the show. How often does that happen? Not very often.
Not often. Very exciting.
Not very often. Ian Safar, how we doing? What's going on?
Doing great. Looking forward to a fun weekend of golf, eh? My eyes will be peeled to the TV.
Really? You're gonna be
No.
all over the golf? No.
No.
I almost believed it. I did for about a half second. I almost believed it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like golf, but
You're not watching-
Don't get me wrong. I don't.
I probably will not be watching, but I hope everybody has a great Friday,
Woo.
great weekend. Should be a fun weekend of sports. What we got, not only the Ryder Cup, but it is a good weekend of football. So,
Yeah, you guys, don't worry about
We'll
watching the
take care of
Ryder
the
Cup
football.
because you
We'll
guys
take care of
can
the
watch the
football.
Titans. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch the Titans over the Ryder Cup? It's good stuff.
now you might have a point there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think
it-
Rexrode thinks I've got a point at all.
No, I mean, if you're gonna boil it down to the Titans, then I actually would not blame somebody for, I guess, flipping over, especially if Coach O is like crowd surfing.
Yeah, I haven't seen Coach O yet on the TV broadcast, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. Some people want him to be the next Titans coach, so maybe he's watching film this morning. Didn't show up to the Ryder Cup.
If
Gotta
he
watch Cam Ward.
if he helps lead Team USA here to a win, maybe he's a little more attractive of a candidate for the Titans.
I think that could be the case.
How about that?
I think that could be the case. We got a lot going on today's program. We'll have Teron Davenport with us at 8 o'clock. We will look ahead to the Titans and the Texans with TD a little bit later in the show. Coming up, we've got the Rex Rant at 7:45, Pigskin Pick'em at 8:30, and we will get into the Titans and the Texans at some point in the show. We will do it. We will talk about the football game. We begin, though, on a massive weekend in college football. A big weekend, not only here locally, with Tennessee, kind of a sneaky big game in the SEC on the road against Mississippi State. Vanderbilt at home against Utah State, where they are a 3-touchdown favorite. We will get into that coming up here in just a few minutes. But you got Alabama, Georgia coming up this weekend, Joe, and a massive game, particularly for Alabama. That's a huge game for Alabama going on the road to Georgia. So a massive game there. And then you have, obviously, a big one in the Big Ten as well with Oregon traveling to Penn State. And unfortunately, Joe, those two will be going on at the same time. So there is that we have to deal with. So get multiple screens out this weekend. What do you make of the two headliners this weekend? Alabama, Georgia in the SEC, Penn State, Oregon in the Big Ten.
Well, it is too bad, that they have to go head to head, because those are definitely both headliner of a weekend caliber games. But yeah, I'm excited about both. I mean, really, frankly, I'm a little more excited about Oregon, Penn State, just because we don't know. Like, that's a real discovery game for both of them to me. Whereas like Alabama and Georgia have both played like legit games. Georgia skin of their teeth, get out of Knoxville with a win. Bama, as we know, embarrassing loss at Florida State. So in that game, I mean, I like Georgia, I think, at home, but I'm intrigued to see Alabama's response. But Oregon, Penn State, I mean, Dante Moore for Oregon, originally he's a Detroit kid, huge recruit, originally went to UCLA, didn't really work out, but, he was young, and he looks incredible in that offense. And it's like any quarterback that goes to Oregon, we're going to talk about one of them later in the show who's in the NFL right now, but it's like, it's just an accelerant. And they look fantastic, but they played nobody. And Penn State has actually looked kind of disappointing. Drew Aller, like a lot of these super hyped quarterbacks coming into this season, just hasn't really looked great. They've been kind of stodgy on offense. Obviously, the whole James Franklin thing. I mean, I picked him to win the national championship. So that was based on Aller taking a step that I don't know that he has taken yet. But, again, we'll see. I mean, it's a whiteout at Penn State, which is one of the great, scenes in college football. So I'm really pumped for that one. We're gonna find out a lot about both of those teams. And, I think they're both ultimately likely going to be playoff teams. But, there's just so much unknown there. Alabama, Georgia, I'm kind of surprised. Like, Georgia's a 2.5-point favorite at home in that game. Aren't you?
I thought it'd be more than that.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be about 5.5.
Yeah. And I know that Georgia obviously looked vulnerable. Tennessee carved them up, and then Tennessee usually doesn't carve up that defense. But at the same time, I mean, Alabama.
Well, Georgia's won 33 in a row at home. They haven't lost at home in a long time. It's been a long time since they've lost a home game. So I know that Alabama has had, if there's one team that's been in Georgia's head, that's the one. It's been Alabama, and even last year Alabama got them. So I get that. Like, I don't know if you factored that into a Vegas line, but I get that being a thing. But I saw the line. I was looking at the line the other day, and I hadn't seen it yet. I was like, my guess is Georgia minus 5.5. And I was like, nope, 2.5. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. So those two games are the prime time. It's also, to me, this is definitely the best SEC. I mean, I think LSU Ole Miss in a lot of weeks would be your big game. Of course, it's the 2:30 game on ABC, but that's another one where it's like, on top of the fact that, like, Lane Kiffin's daughter is like, hey, everybody, I'm dating LSU's linebacker. Yeah. And then they're tweeting at each other about it and whatever.
That'll go well.
Yeah. I mean, Lane's having fun with it. So it's like, hey, I'm sure he knew, Not like he found out on Twitter like everybody else.
First play is going right after him.
Yeah. But he tweeted, take the over.
Yeah.
I guess that means they're just going to.
He's expecting a high-scoring game.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. But that's, I mean, Ole Miss having to go with the backup quarterback, but he's been really good. LSU, we'll see. That I kind of dismiss Ole Miss this year, coming into the year. And look, they almost lost to Arkansas, so it's not like they've been consistently great. But that's a really fascinating game. And I think Auburn at Texas A&M is a game nobody's talking about. But I think Auburn is pretty good. Auburn is actually quite a bit better than I thought they'd be this year. And I know that Texas A&M, big win at Notre Dame. I love Marcel Reed, obviously. Nashville kid who I think it could be a Heisman contender someday. But Texas A&M also screws this stuff up a lot. You know what I mean? This is the type of game Texas A&M screws up. And so I'm very intrigued by that one too.
I'm just glad Penn State survived the schedule at this point to get here. It's been a long, grueling road for them to start. Taking on Nevada, Florida International, and Villanova at home. And I'm just glad that they've been able to carve their way to getting to this point for the Oregon game. You say Drew Aller's struggled, and they've struggled a little bit. I agree. This is kind of similar to me as we were talking about Georgia a couple weeks ago. People were talking about Georgia against like Marshall and Austin Peay. And I was like, it means absolutely nothing. Yeah. It means absolutely nothing. I don't think we know a thing about Penn State yet because they known that they could show up to the stadium the first 3 weeks and they were going to win by 30 points.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but you still just want like your QB to just okay, so show up and
I agree with you. Like, you wanted to look
for
better,
400.
But I just think when you've got this just absolute pancake of a schedule that they've had to start off here, which is it's a James Franklin thing. But when you got that sort of a schedule to start off here, I guess we're going to find out how much does that actually prepare for them for what they're about to see. Look, it's not like Oregon's gone through murderer's row either to get to this point. But I think Oregon is very fascinating. You lose the quarterback last year. I think people expect them to take a little bit of a step back. And Dan Lanning is, he's done a great job with that program, and they're really good. So I'm excited to see that game and what it looks like. I think it's the biggest weekend of all is for Alabama. I think it's a massive weekend for Alabama. You've already dropped the Florida State game. You got a lot of noise around your head coach that he's been able to kind of hold off here in the aftermath because they've looked more like Alabama the last few weeks, albeit against the competition that they played. So I think Wisconsin's pretty bad. And I know that they hammered Wisconsin, but I think Wisconsin's pretty bad.
They got smoked at home by Maryland, if anybody missed that last week. So
I think this is – I'm not even saying Bama has to win. Although if you lose, I mean, you're already dealing with 2 losses in the college football playoff. Like you are on life support for the college football playoff. But if they go out there against Georgia and they just get handled by a couple touchdowns – that noise that was loud a few weeks ago on Kalen DeBoer, you can crank that sucker all the way back up with Alabama fans if that happens.
No doubt. And then what does that mean? You know, obviously, if you're a Vanderbilt fan, first of all, focus on your game this week because I don't think it's going to be as easy as some people think. But what is that? First of all, it's good, I think, if you're Vanderbilt, that you know that Alabama is about to be beat up physically from playing Georgia this week before you play them next week. But then also, what's the preferred mindset? Like they're – desperation, everybody's all over DeBoer and all that stuff, and they again, desperation, or want them feeling good because they got that. To me, if they win that game, that signifies they figured some stuff out, and they're probably gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'd rather see them squirming if I'm Vanderbilt. Like just to have the desperation, that's fine. That means you probably got some issues out there.
Yeah, I agree, because if they win this game, and you can flip it around on the playoff and say, I mean, look, still some tough games, but like Tennessee, Vandy, LSU, Oklahoma all come to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, and you've got a great win that should carry you too.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We'll continue the discussion on a big college football weekend, including a sneaky big road matchup for Tennessee at Mississippi State. Vanderbilt, a heavy favorite at home against Utah State. Can they handle their business? We'll get into all that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. The Blue Raiders taking on Kennesaw State tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Catch all the action on Totally Hits 93.3 with coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at TotallyHitsNashville.com. Joe, as we know, you got to watch out for Kennesaw State. They took down Butch Jones and Arkansas State last week. So the Blue Raiders better be on the lookout against Kennesaw State tomorrow.
Did they really? That's tough, Butch.
I mean, you could pretty much put that on Butch Jones's career. That's tough for Butch.
Actually, kind of, now I want to go back and watch the Butch post-game press conference from after the loss to Kennesaw State.
What do we want from our media?
Beauties.
Wish Butch the best of luck this week. I have no idea who he's playing, but best of luck this week, Butch.
Yep.
See how it goes.
Man.
A potentially sneaky big game for Butch Jones's former employer, the Tennessee Volunteers on the road at Mississippi State. We talked to Ryan Shumpert about this matchup a little bit yesterday, Joe. Mississippi State undefeated to this point, including an impressive win against Arizona State. So you've got Jeff Lebby in year 2. I still think you look at the roster, and Tennessee's got a significant talent advantage on Mississippi State. However, the offense that Lebby runs, like it's basically the Heupel offense, basically. I mean, it's some differences, but Mississippi State can run the ball pretty well. They ran the ball on Tennessee effectively last year. They're going to go high tempo. They're going to go high pace. Tennessee's defense should be used to that based on what they see in practice, but I think that part of it's pretty fascinating heading into this. And all of a sudden, Mississippi State has started to create a little bit of belief down there based on the progress that they're making in year 2 under Lebby and the big win they had over Arizona State. So Heupel and company, we know this, Joe. We've talked about this for years. You know, basically every year they've had some stinker on the road. Last year it was Arkansas. Had no business losing that game to Arkansas, and you came out and you just got manhandled by the Razorbacks. You are a more talented team than Mississippi State is. There is no question about it. Can you avoid what has turned into an annual road letdown at some point on that schedule? And can you avoid that tomorrow against Mississippi State? I'm fascinated to see if this Tennessee team, this Tennessee offense in particular, can handle that.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing, Ryan Shumpert say, because I did not say that in the offseason, he looked at this game as like that game, that kind of a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at it as a sure win.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, but obviously Mississippi State is better, and Blake Shapen's back, and he's good. And so, this becomes that kind of a dangerous game, and there's some belief there in Stark Vegas. So I think that the cowbells are going to be, they're going to be flying around, and
hopefully not literally.
Well, that is true.
Don't throw the cowbells.
Yeah, that's true. Don't throw the cowbells. And frankly, if you forget them at home, that's okay too.
Yeah, you have to watch the game on mute.
Yeah, cowbells or Vandy Whistler. Which one would you take?
Give me the cowbells.
Okay. So you're still putting the
I'll still take the cowbells.
I'm totally immune to the Vandy Whistler.
Are you really?
Absolutely. I think I've said this before. Like the first time, long time ago, I was like, "What the hell's going on with this dude?" And then I don't know. It just becomes part of the background noise to me. But I know it bothers the hell out of people.
Oh, it's pretty bothersome.
Yeah. I don't know for some reason, but I also like someone I put music on when I'm writing and stuff like that. Like I sort of need something to occupy the really dumb parts of my brain.
There you go.
So maybe that's what the Vandy Whistler does. You know what I mean? It's like he just occupies the
dumb part of my brain. The Vandy Whistler occupies beautifully.
The gray matter, just sort of takes it to the side. Like this is a big game now, and that's the thing. I think that's what's good for Tennessee is that we weren't thinking about this game as anything.
Yeah.
And look, I think Arizona State. I don't think Arizona State's not going to be. Well, I guess they could be. Like Big 12 is like a bunch of pretty good teams, but they're still pretty good. They're not the same team as last year. They don't have all-time great future Hall of Famers Cam Scadaboo on their team.
That's true.
They do still have Sam Levitt, who's a really good quarterback, and they've got some talent. That's a big win. I mean, that's a huge win, and that's an eye-opener, and that's probably good for Tennessee that happened, right?
I would agree.
Like, there's just there's no excuse for, like,
overlooking.
Like, last year, Arkansas had been bad. I don't remember exactly what they had done before that game, but it wasn't good. Like they were not good. Everybody expected a complete stomping, even though we had seen like actually pretty significant signs of Tennessee's offense kind of, not being high powered and having its own issues. But, they just that was a stunner. This one, like because of that win, I think that there should be some respect and some awareness. But yeah, look, I think about, like the game at Missouri 2 years ago, obviously the Florida, when you play good teams, that's a different thing. But yeah, like some of these road games get away from them. And, of course, South Carolina 3 years ago is the ultimate example. So you're not, I mean, this has been the building of a program. So in the midst of that, you're going to have some losses like that. But it does seem like a little bit of not able to stop the bleeding sometimes when you're on the road. I just think that they're too good for that to be a thing this week.
Well, I think the offense in particular has not shown any signs to this point of, frankly, being able to be stopped, right? Like, they may slow themselves down every now and then, but the passing game has been, I think, better at this point than any Tennessee fan probably could have imagined heading into the season, given what we thought we knew about the team. The offensive line looks great. The trio of Brazel, Matthews, and Staley has been really good. Like, they've just been really good to this point, and they've got, 3 running backs that do different things that you feel good about. Now I'm with you. I'd probably like to start to see a little bit more of Star Thomas. Stop throwing the ball to Deshaun Bishop or Peyton Lewis because neither one of them could catch it, so that would be great. But offense looks good to this point. I do think tomorrow is a big day for the Tennessee defense. I mean, you got shelled by Georgia, and I know you're down. You're starting 2 corners. Jackson Moy is coming back tomorrow, which I think is a big deal for that defensive front. Can you, against a team that is not as talented as you are, even with your starting 2 corners out, can you hold up defensively? And not just hold up, like, can you impose your will defensively? You're not going to be perfect. Like, it's not like you're not going to allow a touchdown to Mississippi State tomorrow or anything like that. But can you make plays get off the field in big moments when you need to get off the field? That's what I'm looking for tomorrow.
Yeah, and like you said, it's always interesting when like the same offenses get together. Basically,
right.
These are different versions of the Briles offense. But Mississippi State. I mean, I think Mississippi State's going to score some points. I think they're going to have some success. There's just it's just hard for me to look at Mississippi State and see a lot of stops in this game. I mean, their top pass rusher Whitson was lost for the season in that win against Arizona State.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on with me at 6 o'clock.
You all right?
I guess I need some. Well, we're watching golf. Maybe I should get some tea. Can we have some tea with our golf? Would that help me?
I feel like it'd be something the Europeans would drink, the tea. Go get you some whiskey or something in there.
Yeah, all right. Well, fine. Give me a PBR, okay? It's like, I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, yeah, I think Tennessee, that's where the confidence comes from. Man, I just think their offense has got it together,
Yeah.
I think I think it's going to end up being a Tennessee offense this year that's like more like 2022, not that level, but way better,
much closer,
than the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Aguilar gets certainly some credit for that, but also I just think, like you said, the receivers are the most pleasant surprise, right? I mean, that's all we were.
They look really good.
Half the going into the year, that was as much a concern as any, and they're legit dudes. So I think that I think Tennessee's gonna have to win a relatively high scoring game. I think Mississippi State, Shapen's very good.
Yeah,
they've got some playmakers, and they'll get in the end zone a few times. But Tennessee, if they're not turning it over, or having some big gaffes on special teams, I think they're going to be fine.
Joe, real quickly, Vanderbilt a heavy favorite against Utah State at home. We'll get to our picks for it later in Pigskin Pick'em, but another opportunity here for Vanderbilt to put on display what they put on display all year long to this point, which is a dominant performance. We'll see if they can do it again at home against Utah State.
Yeah, and we talked about the crowd last week. They packed the place for a night game against Georgia State. This is a much better opponent. 11:45 a.m., kind of a weird time game. Is it gonna be packed there again? Like how much momentum is there right now for this program and to to watch Diego Pavia play every chance you get and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've been saying it. This is a dangerous game with Bama next and with all the flowers everybody's getting. Utah State, again, they lost, they got 3 blowout wins and they lost 44-22 at Texas A&M. Nick Howell was here. He was he did not have fun here as Vandy's defensive coordinator. And a lot of people, blamed him and they moved on. But also when he was the defensive coordinator here, man, he did not have many, personnel advantages. Let me tell you something. So, there's a history and part of it is in there too, familiarity. And I just think that Vanderbilt needs to be aware, man. I think they need to be aware that this is going to be a much tougher game than last week.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We will shift gears, get into the NFL coming next. Some early season takeaways and questions around the league, including a player that the Titans have seen already that I'm starting to wonder, is he not very good? We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning, taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will get into the Titans and the Texans coming up here in a few minutes at 7 o'clock. Talking NFL headlines at the moment. Joe, one team the Titans have seen already to this point and that had very high expectations coming into the year. The Denver Broncos. They are 1-2. Their lone win coming against the Tennessee Titans. And frankly, if you go back and watch that game, Titans hung in there, and barring a couple egregious mistakes that we have discussed at length here on the show, maybe an opportunity for the Titans to win that game. They did not, but that is the lone win that Denver has to this point. They lost the next week on the last-second field goal to Indianapolis, and the Chargers with a 23-20 win against Denver this past week. Bo Nix, I would say average at best is what he's looked like through 3 weeks, and at times below that, well below that. I thought he was bad against the Titans, and they actually won that game. And you look at Nix and what he's done to this point in Sean Payton's offense. He is 5 touchdowns, 3 picks, 5.6 yards per attempt, a completion percentage of 64.2%. So the numbers aren't horrific or anything like that, but you watch him play and it's like, I don't know that he's taking a huge jump in year 2 like Sean Payton clearly has expected here. So if you're a Broncos fan sitting here today, Joe, what's your concern level off the 1-2 start and based on what you've seen out of that offense specifically to this point?
Yeah, I mean, he just looks like, again, you got the guys who have the come out of the gates blazing. We talked about CJ Stroud yesterday. Obviously, we'll find out. Like with Jaden, I think Jaden Daniels looked just fine before he got hurt. Although, hey man, give the ball to Marcus, get out of the way, get yourself a dub. Whatever you need to do there, Washington.
Could be the strategy.
Yeah, but I never really bought like the whole figuring, like the defense figured him out. It's like, well, I mean, they run an offense, you run a defense, they run plays. Like, what does that mean? I mean, if there's a quarterback who has like some clear weakness or something, can't make all the throws, or you rush a quarterback a certain way, but like that, I think that's over. It's just like, how is he playing, right? Like, how is he performing? And it's just been pretty disappointing, I'd say. I'd say Bo Nix has been one of the disappointing quarterbacks of the early season in the NFL. And I think that's why because I think you're right. That's Peyton expected like another step. And it's funny how that, like, you just don't know, it's like you got the same guy from last year. You're doing all the same things. And then why does it, I think with CJ Stroud,
yeah,
I think you can definitely look, I think the stuff around him and say they have not made it easy. There's been some bad luck with injuries, and the offensive line is like, I mean, I don't know what they're doing. But with Bo Nix, it's sometimes you just can't explain it. And then on the flip side, I would ask a question like is Sam Darnold, like, even though Jared's on Twitter ripping us about some draft prospect wide receiver crap, I tip the cap on the Sam Darnold love.
He looks good so far.
I mean, he looks like a legit dude, like really good.
Yeah.
Top half of the league quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like it. I mean, when you factor in Darnold's year last year, minus the last 2 games, and then the start of this year, it's been sensational, right? Like, he's been great to that point. Now, the follow-up question to that is going to be, and if you're listening, it's probably where you're going, which is, okay, well, you can't ignore the last 2 games of last year in Minnesota and how bad it was. And is that coming at some point for the Seahawks? But, I mean, other than those 2 games, he has been – I mean, he hasn't even been top half of the league good. He's been like top 5 in the league good.
Yeah, I mean –
from a numbers perspective.
Right. Like, I wouldn't put him there.
I wouldn't either. But I'm just saying from a numbers perspective, other than those 2 games where he was brutal to end last year, the last 2 seasons he's been – pretty darn good.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, Seattle is Seattle's a good team, man. I mean, I know that maybe some people wouldn't look at winning at Arizona last night as, some big thing, but I think Arizona's not a bad team. I think that whole division, the NFC West, is good Like everybody's good to really good in that division. So that was a significant win to me on the road. And so I look at Knicks as one of the early disappointments. I look at Darnold as sort of a validation early in the season. Obviously, you've got, like Tua is Tua's like talking about like do you see what Tua said about
Cam Newton, but how you'd like to see like somebody
play
quarterback in this league?
Yeah, holding a clicker is easy.
It's like, well, it was Cam Newton that said it.
Right, like he did like win an
major
MVP.
Criticism. Yeah.
Got to the Super Bowl, so yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to end well down there in Miami. One of the big early stories of the season is this finally the year where the Justin Herbert hype matches the Justin Herbert performance, not only from him individually, but from them as a team. And boy, are they off to a good start. 3-0, and not just 3-0, they're 3-0 with 3 wins in the division. I mean, that's a heck of a start for the LA Chargers. And I know, there's a long way to go, and I thought that they were going to be in trouble after Slater went down with his injury to begin the season at left tackle, and they have managed that very well to this point. I guess that's what happens when you're Jim Harbaugh and you just say your offensive linemen are weapon. You can take as many offensive linemen as you possibly can. So good for them.
There you go.
But, they don't – I mean, Ladd McConkey, I think, is a really good player, but they had a receiver basically retire on him in training camp. Like, there's a lot of things that went wrong for them before the season. But 3-0 with all 3 wins coming to your division to begin play is pretty good stuff for the LA Chargers.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, cheating Jim Harbaugh is also coaching Jim Harbaugh. I mean, the guy can coach, and it is early, but it's early, and it's like you look at the win over Kansas City, and I think another early story. You got 1-2 Chiefs, 1-2 Ravens Sunday. I mean, the Chiefs, I got concerns about them. We know that the Raiders stink. The funny thing is the win over the Broncos. I mean, Nix has a throw that he's about 1.5 yards long on, or else that sets up the winning field goal for Denver in that game. They did play them well, but still, I think so. I think Justin Herbert, early indications are, like he's an MVP candidate, and they could be as tough as anyone. And, they're just, Harbaugh embraces, physical football, and it always works. Now, granted, it works a lot better when you have a quarterback who can then play off that, right? But that's the type of football that he embraces and that he teaches.
Yep.
And I think each year it seems like they get a little bit more physical.
Well, and then the other big story in the league, obviously, is what the Colts have done. And you just got a firsthand look at that this past week. If you're the Titans, Colts are 3-0, Jacksonville's 2-1. And then you got a pair of 0-3 teams in the Titans and the Texans in the AFC South. So the Colts and the Jags, the darling of the AFC South to this point. And, well, look, like I said, we just saw the Colts. It's a great start for them. I've watched a little bit of the Jags to this point, and obviously I think Liam Cohen has come in there and has done a nice job. Now, I think we're about to find out a whole lot about the Jags over the next 4 weeks. This is their 4-week stretch they've got. The Niners on the road this weekend, home against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, home against Seattle, who, as we just mentioned, off to a good start, home against the LA Rams. Those are your next 4 games. Niners, Chiefs, Seahawks, Rams. We're going to find out a lot about Jacksonville over the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, and I think we're going to find out that they're not that good. It's been a good start, but I think they're going to lose most, if not all, those games. The Colts, and I'm not just pandering to our high number of Colts fans who like to listen to our program.
We do have a lot.
I mean, I'm getting into believer territory. There's still skepticism with Daniel Jones, but he's not. I mean, I think he's at least like pretty good. He's solid. I mean, and sometimes you get away from a place like the Giants and look at what they continue to do. And again, it's like a story that keeps happening over and over in the NFL. I'm more prone to believe in them than I am the Jags. But let me ask you this. right now you have to bet a large chunk of money on somebody to win AFC South. Who are you putting your money on?
I think the Colts, from the standpoint of I think Houston's offensive line is that bad. They can't block anybody, which I don't know if that's going to be a problem for them this weekend against the Titans, but that's going to be a problem in general. If you can't block and protect your quarterback, as we well know around here, it's such a problem. And the shame of it is, I think Houston's got the best defense in the division by far. I think their defense is really, really good. But look, they got the Titans this weekend. Then they're on the road at Baltimore, on the road at Seattle, home against San Francisco, home against Denver. You can't block against those teams. Stroud ain't gonna make it through that stretch. So I think I'd go Colts.
All right, put me down for the Texans. I'm not saying it with high confidence, but put me down for the Texans right now.
Okay.
Houston's schedule is pretty tough.
Houston's schedule is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You said it, Baltimore, Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, the next 4 games. And then you get Jacksonville and the Titans, but then you get the Bills, the Colts, the Chiefs. You get a couple with their
Chargers at the end of the year.
You get a couple in there with the Raiders and the Cardinals, but
well, I say it's 7-10 wins AFC South. So. Sorry, Colts fans.
Colts are about to go on a major losing streak here.
I guess I just came back around to ripping your Colts. I'm sorry.
Very nicely done. 615-737-1025. It's actually a pretty big weekend in the NFL. We'll take a look at some of those games coming up next. We'll get into the Titans and the Texans, all that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Looking for a good spot to watch NFL games on Sunday? Come on out to Twin Peaks in Cool Springs, home of the 29-degree beer, and join 102.5 The Game for the pregame show before the Titans take on the Texans. Pregame show brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment, Old National Bank, Circa Sportsbook Kentucky, and Tennessee Brew Works. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Joe, it's a big weekend in the NFL. We will get into the Titans and the Texans coming up here in just a few minutes, which I don't know if that would qualify as a big game in the NFL this weekend, but it's a big game around here. Three games that stand out to me on this weekend in the NFL that are pretty massive. Number one, Ravens and Chiefs, as you pointed out. Both teams at 1-2. One team's going to win. One team's going to lose. I hope there's not a tie in that game.
That would suck.
And that means one of those teams is going to 1-3, which is not insurmountable, particularly when you've got the talent that both of those teams have. But it would be, I think, deeply concerning if you're the Ravens or the Chiefs and you end up at 1-3 after the first 4 games of the season. You've got that, which I think would probably headline my interest this weekend for the general NFL fan. You got the Packers and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football with Micah Parsons coming back to Dallas. I mean, everything is lining up for Green Bay to just roll in that game, which makes me incredibly nervous heading into it. Incredibly nervous. And then one that I think should be getting talked about a lot more than it is, Philadelphia at Tampa Bay.
No.
A battle of undefeateds. Now, I know Mike Evans is out. Mike Evans just got a hamstring injury. He's going to be out for a few weeks. Baker looks like, Joe, for the third year in a row, that he's just going to play incredibly well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're undefeated. It's at home for Tampa Bay. Philadelphia was in a great game last week against the Rams, and they got out of there with the win. But that's a massive game in the NFC this weekend.
Yeah, that's a huge one. The Eagles, they really got outplayed. They got outplayed badly by the Rams. It was 26-7, and it was talk about the home fans booing people. Eagles fans, how many times they get booed in that game, and they make this incredible comeback. And Jalen Hurts was magical. They kind of have figured out lately. It's like, yeah, man, maybe throw to A.J. Brown actually does kind of work out. You might want to try that. Devontae Smith with a huge touchdown. It's like sometimes it's like they can win games without leaning on those receivers because they have so much else that's so good. They can maybe the best back, great tight end, great deep, all that stuff. But you need those guys sometimes. And then obviously you get the the runaway block, and Jalen Carter just a freak, man. That's so. But I also you kind of masked that. I don't know that they're really playing great football. They don't look like a great team right now that has put it all together. And the Bucs just continue to me, like be the NFL's. There's just like the forgotten team, right? That's really good, but I don't think they get that much respect. The Evans thing is big, but Ibuka is such a revelation for them, and that's the thing. It's a great pick by them, because they had to get younger at receiver. So I'm very excited for that game, and I'm excited. Look, I'm excited for Colts Rams too. In all honesty, I think Colts Rams. I just said like 7 wins the AFC South, so. Yeah, I think the Rams will probably win, but I mean, it's certainly like, okay, let's see it, Colts. How for real are you? Because I think the Rams have played.
Well, they just roll off wins.
Yeah, I know, but I think the
Colts will be 9-0. Like, Colts, how for real are you, baby?
If you can sweep the Titans, then we'll start talking about a legit team. But I think the Rams have at time, because obviously your Packers, I think their defense has been. I think they might have the best defense in the NFL. I think the Rams have, for stretches, looked like they could be as good as anybody in the NFC.
Oh, they're my pick to be in the Super Bowl. Bills Rams.
Yeah, there you go.
They're very good. They're very good. As long as Stafford's healthy, they're good. And it does not look like the back has been an issue for him to this point.
Right. And Puka, who is such a great player, but also I feel like he's always close to getting hurt.
Right.
Which is not great. But I mean, that's a fascinating game. I think Viking Steelers is that one's in Dublin. So we start the early games thing, which if it's a good game, great. have a nice, early morning game. I'm really interested in that one, man. Like, first of all, it's hard for me to buy Wentz, but he came right out and lit him up. And then, what are the Steelers? The Steelers, they need to win that
Wentz goes on a little run here, and I don't know when J.J. McCarthy's going to be back or supposed to be back, but if Wentz goes on a little run here and just looks like he did this past week, like Kevin O'Connell is unbelievable.
Right. Like Kevin O'Connell is what the Titans hoped they were getting in Brian Callahan. Right. But obviously he has got a touch with quarterbacks. Look, Wentz has been an MVP in this league. Okay. So, but that was a while ago. And that was a bit stunning to me to see how well he played last week. Darnold, everybody wanted to give O'Connell all the fight, but again, I'm watching Darnold right now. I think Darnold's good, but still I'm with you. Like, O'Connell is pretty freaking good, man.
Daniel Jones was just in the vicinity of him last year and didn't even play, and now all of a sudden he looks great.
Yeah, that's right. That is a good point. Now, I would also say the highly touted rookie has had like one crazy quarter of football, and other than that, has not looked good at all. So that's something to keep in mind, too.
Yeah, that is true.
Is Wentz just going to keep that job?
Mark from Ashland City says, this is the game Daniel Jones looks like Daniel Jones again. Book it here. 3 turnovers, and the Colts lose. Boy, we're going to do a pretty good job of getting Colts fans fired up again.
Well, I fear that there are some Titans fans who have basically already been relegated to just hate watching the Colts.
Should get that today, too, by the way, a little bit later. Get the song of the week.
So that comes out every Friday?
Usually every Friday.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
A Rams pun, huh?
Yeah,
Wonder
I'm
where we'll
excited
go
to
with
see what
this
that
one.
could be.
Yeah.
Excited to see what that could be.
Yeah. Do you go LA? Do you go Rams?
Little Stafford.
Yeah.
Can you
Interesting.
make a pun with Stafford's name, Make a joke about Stafford's wife's podcast.
Maybe so.
There's a lot of ways you could go.
Who knows?
But look, the Colts, in all seriousness, like, they are much better than I thought. And I do think that as long as they have Jonathan Taylor, he's a huge difference maker for them. Look at him last week. Like, he is a difference making talent. It's just, do you trust him to be healthy all year?
I worry about their lack of weapons a little on the outside. Pierce kind of got dinged up.
Yep.
Pittman I like, but he's not.
Pittman back, but yeah.
Warren.
Downs. And Warren is going to be. Warren's going to be a good pick for them, man.
But
that Chris Ballard, he's a genius.
He's playing chess this whole time.
All along.
Who would have thought?
That's why they didn't fire him.
I guess not. Maybe they knew what they were doing.
Colts fans, your thoughts.
615-737-1025, our phone number. The Titans and the Texans coming up this weekend. We will look at that game. Plus, Titans fans, how are we feeling? Like, are you hopeful in this game? Do you want to win? How are we feeling about this matchup in week 4 of the NFL season? Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. The Ryder Cup is on. Life is good in the United States of America this morning. Off to a good start in the Ryder Cup, so we'll see how that goes throughout the weekend. Joe, the Tennessee's Titans taking on the Houston Texans this weekend down there in Houston. Matchup of 0-3 teams. Not overly surprising that the Titans are 0-3. It is overly surprising that the Houston Texans are 0-3, the favorites to win the AFC South heading into the season, and not going very well for the Houston Texans. Having said that, you have a matchup of 0-3 teams. You have the Texans, who have not looked very good, one of the disappointments in the entire league so far this year. And then, Joe, you go and you look at the line and you say, well, it's two 0-3 teams. How bad could it be? And the Houston Texans are 7.5-point favorites. So,
Yeah.
Which I believe I heard DVD say yesterday for 0-3 for teams that haven't won a game, that are playing each other as deep as week 4 in the NFL season. It's like the second time or third time in the Super Bowl era that one of those teams has been a touchdown favorite. So,
well, that's what Ed just asked, which I thought that's interesting. So I'd love to know where they got that stat. But yeah, I mean, and yet when you go with your like preconceived notions about these teams and the fact that it's in Houston, it's not a surprising line at all, but it's still kind of eye opening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like how you know, I don't. Someone on the YouTube chat's like, you're saying, you know, Joe's like, or John. No, we're not trying to tank. No, I don't think anybody's talking about. Well, I shouldn't say nobody's talking about tanking. We're people who want.
Oh, people are talking about tanking.
Yeah, people are talking about the draft. But I mean, I guess it's more to me. It's like, do you have any joy as a Titans fan?
Yeah.
Do you have any hope? I mean, Cam Ward, I guess, automatically gives you something. That's the thing. In the last 2 years, you've had the hopeful quarterback, right? So at least you've had that. Whereas like in Vrabel's last year, you know, it was like Tannehill and they brought in Levis, but it was like, I mean, at least you like the whole focal point last year. Will Levis, what is he? Is he the guy? Is he your franchise quarterback? Now it's Cam Ward. So you have that, and some teams don't even have that are bad.
Yes,
but beyond that, what is there?
I don't know. I don't know. Like that is why I'm watching the Tennessee Titans. There's 2 reasons I'm watching the Tennessee Titans right now. Number 1, it's my job. Okay. So let me point that out. That is reason 1 why I'm watching. Number 2 is Ward. That's it. Like, that's why I'm watching the Tennessee Titans. I want to see, there's some intrigue about Cam Ward, and week to week, what's he seeing? How's he growing? What does that look like? Like, that to me, if I'm a Titans fan, is really the main reason that I'm watching. Is like, as the season goes on, give me as much Cam Ward as you can give me, and let's try to see if this whole thing gets any better. Problem is, this week I'm terrified for Cam Ward because I think he's going up against a defense that features 2 edge rushers that are going to get after him all game. And I'm like, just get rid of the ball. Like Kuharski talked earlier this week about Ward's holding the ball way too long, which he is. That can't happen this week. You got to get rid of the football this week if you're Cam Ward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. See, I think that, well, first of all, you do have the young receivers, you know, so there's that. There isn't a ton on the defensive side of the ball, right? Like, to me, it's all about, do you have young players who you think can be like foundational players that maybe they're good right now. They're going to be like, this is going to be part of a core of a good team moving forward.
Well, the problem is 2 of those guys on both sides of the ball aren't playing right now.
Well, exactly. And that to me is where I still think it's possible. And I mean, I think especially in the run game, but I mean, I do like, I'm interested / I was excited going in the season to see Latham on the right side. And obviously then with Zeitler and you know, we're seeing Skoronski look like a pretty good player. Now I'm seeing some great, you know, social media battles between Stilly and Tic Tac Titans. I mean, you know, Stilly's still talking about, he's after the guard. And this guy's like, he's the best guard in the league. It's like, everybody just calm down. But he is I think he's one of the bright spots.
Yeah, I had to mute the Tic Tac guy. I'm sorry, but I did.
Just because of this?
No, a long time
Long
ago.
time ago?
I just, it was showing up, and I eventually had to stop.
Didn't he call in one time?
He did, and then Kuharski eviscerated him for about 3 minutes for taking content.
Well, I might take his side more on this one with Stilly, but hey, I used to mute Stilly, so what do I, now I've unmuted
I'm sure
him.
he's a good guy. I was seeing too much of it. I had to stop.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos where he's like, rah, 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 screaming with like a camera like really close to his face. Like, just chill out, man.
Calm down a
It's
little bit.
okay.
It's all good.
But anyway, that part of this team, I was excited to see. Not because I was all that optimistic about Dan Moore, who is last week, the man door was closed a little more.
It was.
But
couldn't break through that door last week.
I mean, that's right. But that's got to be, especially those two guys, right?
Yeah.
Latham and Skoronski, like part of this is part of the core of this team. So now you fix this. Problem is, okay, so how do you fix left tackle moving forward? But I think that could be something. Now, it's not this week because he's not playing. And at some point you get to enough into the season, you're like, when the heck is he going to play and how effective is he going to be? That's kind of depressing.
Craig says, I guess the good thing about the Titans is we don't have to tank. We are genuinely this awful, genuinely this bad. No tanking required by the Tennessee Titans. Skyler says, lose them all, Titans. I'm making a killing betting on these other teams. It's from Skyler.
Yeah.
On the text line.
Liam says, just lose, baby.
Yeah.
So this question says, this is your buddy John who's asking if you're watching the Ryder Cup in studio. Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah, bro.
He says, who would you even tank for? If you go winless, smart decision, and probably trade the first pick. Well, yeah, that's why you tank.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get the number one pick and you don't have a quarterback need, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful
it's a good spot
thing to be. Yeah, because now you need, and I mean, look, it'll happen. Like we said yesterday, like someone will emerge. I mean, we're talking about the Mendoza kid from Indiana now. It has not been
Joey Aguilar.
I mean, shoot, who knows, man? But it has, like, we haven't seen like the Nussmeyers, the Sellers, these guys, Aller, like explode out of the gate here. But there's going to be a quarterback. Who's gonna be the most quarterback needy team in the draft? Who are the obvious quarterback needy teams?
Well, I have no idea what the New Orleans Saints are going to end up thinking about Tyler Shuck, so they could be on the list.
They're
bad, so they're going to be in position to draft.
The Browns.
I mean, they've just drafted 1 billion quarterbacks, but you could draft another one, throw them in there. I don't know if anybody that they drafted is going to end up being their long-term guy, so they could certainly be in the mix there for sure.
I'll tell you, yeah. Now,
the Browns are going to have 2 first-round picks, by the way.
I don't remember where like Kyler is on this contract, but I think, I think at this point
we're flirting dangerously close to my draft line here.
I know. I'm sorry. Bottom line is I'm just trying to make sure there are going to be some teams, right? There's always somebody, right? Like there's always somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts could go south if my prediction holds true, then they're going to go 6-11. So all of a sudden be like, okay, actually we do need a quarterback. There's some that, Carolina, there's enough teams out there that you figure, because what you need is obviously someone to give you a crap ton to get to the number one spot.
So we started the segment by asking Titans fans how excited they were.
Let's talk about the draft.
And we devolved into, well, don't worry. If they suck long enough, you might be able to get some good picks this year in the draft.
Oh, man.
Joel makes a good point. We got a new wrinkle this week. There's a new play caller out there.
So that is true.
Can the Titans get to 20?
They just did.
Well,
they just did.
That's true. They get
the Titans
20%.
Okay, they got 2 touchdowns the second half.
Let's rephrase it. Will the Titans get to 20 while remaining within 2 scores of the other team at some point?
Okay. Well, if you're going to put it that way, geez. Yeah, I'm
going no this weekend, by the way.
What's that?
I'm going no. They're not getting to 20 this weekend.
The over-under on this game is very low.
Yeah.
As we would expect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the over-under, I could see it being
it's like
low.
38.5, I think I saw.
Based on the Titans matchup with their offense against the Texans, I think that's a good reason for it to be low. I don't know. The other side, I feel like this is the week. The next week, all the headlines in Houston are going to be like, man,
Texans offense figured it out, man.
Maybe they can block.
Yeah.
Their pass protection got way better this week. Wow.
If you're the
They're
Texans,
really improving.
if you're the Texans tackles this week, you're probably looking at the film and being like, oh, God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
This rookie, please be on my side, rookie. Or you know what? I'll take Arden Key too. That's fine.
615-737-1025, our phone number. More of your thoughts on the matchup from the Titans and the Texans. Plus, we got a little bit of a feud heading into this game between a prominent member of the Titans and a prominent member of the Texans. And Joe has some thoughts on that. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025, the game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, the game. Vanderbilt taking on Utah State tomorrow at First Bank Stadium. Pregame at 10 a.m. on 102.5 The Game. Kickoff at 11:45. Vanderbilt football brought to you by Gary Force Acura, Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse, and Smoky Mountain Tops. The Titans taking on the Texans on Sunday. Both teams in search of their first win of the season. Titans have lost, I believe, 9 in a row, dating back to last season. Their last win in Houston, baby.
That's right.
On the road against the Houston Texans. Will Levis threw a pick six in that game, and they still won.
They did. So, I mean, if they win this week, it's like, man, Brian Callahan, King of Houston, Mayor of Houston, Brian Callahan.
Maybe enough to keep his job.
Now, I want to talk about some of these pass rushers the Titans should get in the next draft. No, I'm just kidding. I apologize.
We did have a lot of people
I
texting
apologize.
in and be like, what are we doing? Thought we weren't talking draft.
Well, the point I was just trying to answer the question of why is it great to have the number one pick? And then I'm like there's always a quarterback needy team, but I just didn't.
Here he goes again.
No, I'm just saying. I was just trying to explain. Then I was going down the rabbit hole of there will be a quarterback needy team, right? Has there ever been a year where there wasn't an obvious, glaring quarterback needy team in the NFL draft?
I don't think so.
Probably not, but it is possible, right? It's possible for the whole league to be at least okay.
Publicly shame Rexrode. Everybody text in.
I'm not talking about the draft. I'm not talking about the draft.
Way too far into the draft talk here.
I'm talking NFL big picture history of the quarterback position.
All right.
But Reuben Bain could be a good number one pick. I'm just saying. Okay. That's illegal, and I'm calling the feds in to shut this down.
So we got a little bit of a feud heading into this game, which is kind of nice because it's actually something that we'll actually get to watch on the field, which I'm excited about. So L'Jarius Sneed earlier this week was asked about Nico Collins and took an interesting line of approach when asked about Nico Collins. Here's what L'Jarius Sneed had to say earlier this week.
He was asked about you, and he said, who? Nico Collins this week. Who? Nico. A couple times today.
Okay. Yeah, he knows who I am. Yeah.
Nico Collins says he knows who I am. But you could see, I saw the video feed in of Nico Collins' face there. You could see it. It made him mad. When he was told about L'Jarius Sneed saying, who? When talking about Nico Collins.
Oh, yeah.
He was upset. And I'm here for it. The Nico Collins, L'Jarius Sneed feud heading into this game. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah. Look, this strikes right to the heart of a thing I've noticed in my entire life. Have you ever noticed how it's infuriating to me, but some of the best athletes I've been around, I'm talking even growing up and stuff like that, whatever, through I'm sure you've met someone who's great at sports who doesn't like sports.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually think some of the best athletes, some are they couldn't care less about the sport they play. They're completely aloof and oblivious.
Okay.
I think L'Jarius Sneed is 100% that dude. I don't think he knows who he is. I swear to you. He's number whatever. Yeah, okay.
Have they not played against each other? Has he not been matched up against him?
I understand. I understand, but I seriously think he doesn't follow football. And there is that type of great athlete who's better than everybody else, but also doesn't give a crap about the sport. It doesn't follow it, doesn't follow the players. I swear.
Hey, L'Jarius, you're going up against Tom Brady this week. Your thoughts on
who? Oh, is that number 12?
Who's Brady?
Yeah, number 12. Yeah, he throws a pretty good ball. Number 12.
Patrick Mahomes. L'Jarius, do you know who that is? Used to play with him. Quarterback, 15 on the Chiefs.
Yeah,
that seems vaguely familiar.
Yeah, he has that really annoying brother. I fought with him one time. Yeah, okay, so obviously, yeah, does he know some people in the league stuff? Sure. But I don't think he was talking trash. If you watch the video, it's someone said, who? And then Garsky said he said it twice. Did he say it twice?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're reaching Inspector
I'm not
Gadget
reaching at
on
all.
this one.
I watched this thing and I'm just yeah, he's not. You think he was intentionally oh, who?
Yeah, I do.
Oh God. No, he was not. Dude,
you think the answer is he doesn't know who Nico Collins is?
He is L'Jarius Sneed is oblivious to many things. I promise you that my theory, which is a true
Hell,
theory,
I don't know who that is.
I
Who's
promise.
Nico Collins?
Listen. So again, you think he's intentionally saying who?
Yes, I
Oh
think
my
that's probably
God.
a better explanation than he doesn't know who the number 1 wide receiver on the Houston Texans is.
Dude, he knows his number.
Okay.
Okay, this is who you're matched up against. Okay, I promise you. I can't promise you that my theory is right. I promise you, he's not intentionally saying who.
Just watch the Kuharski video from his Twitter. You should.
I did. I watched
you saw
it.
Snead's face.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Yes, he's like who?
And then he went to the afterwards. He goes, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah.
Like his media availability was over.
See you guys.
By the way, Kuharski.
I got to go study the roster for the Texans.
That he doesn't.
Dictionary. Figure out everybody's name.
I've not been around him this year. I was around him enough last year. He doesn't. He's oblivious. He is oblivious. I promise you. Meanwhile, Kuharski tweets, Titans respect Nico Collins. L'Jarius Sneed wasn't egging him on with who response. I don't know. I mean, so apparently
Okay.
Kuharski believes. I don't know. He's the one who put the video out and initially started the controversy, and now he's saying the opposite. So my theory in life is very true, 100%. So whatever. I don't know if that's really I hope he knows who people are in the league. He was not intentionally saying.
Is that like the theory that Levis got the Jets name?
That's
the Jets player's name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that same?
Yeah.
Are we on the same level on this one?
No. Levis just misspoke. Levis is someone who knows all the players on the team. He's not one of those guys. Sneed, you know these people. It's like you don't even know anything about sports, but you're better than all of us. I hate you, man.
Jerry Sneed going to get out there on Sunday. Hey, I'm L'Jarius. Shake your hand.
Nice to meet you.
Nico? Is that what you – Nico Iamaliava? What's your last name? Collins. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I can't believe if you watch that video and
I think this is maybe the craziest thing you've ever said.
Well, listen, my theory, it's a lifelong of building it, that may not apply to him. I think it does. Again, it's fine. I'm sure he knows he is. The idea that he seriously is doing this on purpose. Who?
Nico Collins. Who is that?
I mean, come on.
So when you say they
Is he
don't
a
like
football player?
sports, they don't follow. They're not fans of the game. They
Exactly.
don't follow it.
Dude, yeah, don't you? Yes.
I know that. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
This is a real
Yes.
thing. This is a real thing, and it's always and you'll find it in the pros. Well,
They're
it's just
out there doing their
so
thing. Yeah.
here's a guy. Okay, here's a guy who is an exact example of this, and I mean, it's not like he's great in the NFL. Like Adoree Jackson knows nothing about sports. He's just really good, but
You can't tell.
He's not right. Like he's into other stuff. I remember one time. I don't even remember. I think this was a story I was doing on CTE. But anyway, he was like, yeah, I mean, I hope my kids are artists. I want my kids to be artists. I don't want them to play sports. But I mean, he's just really good. He's an incredible athlete. He plays, but he doesn't play fantasy football, doesn't follow the game. I mean,
You're getting roasted on the text.
that's fine. That's fine. You can roast me. Again, this is sort of a little fun aside of my life that I've experienced.
So you don't think Adoree knew the opponents every week, the names of them?
I mean, look, I don't know about that. But I do think a lot of guys, you talk to guys in NFL locker rooms, you know what they say? And I understand if it's a star player, you better know them. But they always say, yeah, 8's really good and 14's good. We got to watch 14.
Numbers a lot. Yeah.
I'm they watch the film 23. Dude, that happens all the time. Now, should he know who Nico Collins is? Yeah.
Especially if you're playing him this week.
Right, but he knows him by his number by film.
I can tell you this: Nico Collins ain't going to take it the way Rexrode's taking it.
Oh, that's fine.
I can promise you that.
Oh, sure. And then he'll go for 8 for 150 and talk trash about him afterward. But I do not, in all seriousness, I do not think. No, Joe's calling. I'm not calling the player stupid. I'm saying some guys don't follow the sport they play. They really don't care. They don't watch games when they're on their free time. That is a real thing. So I think he knows him by his number off the film. I do not, for any stretch of the imagination, watching that video, think he was sitting there like, who? He sucks. No, he seriously was like, who? I know his number. I swear. I will lay it down right here. You guys can rip me all you want.
This is the most ridiculous thing you've ever said.
Oh, God, whatever.
The most ridiculous thing you've ever said. Keith says this is a low T alert for Joe. Low T alert.
And,
Joe.
I mean, you guys have got to admit, you know what I'm talking about.
All right, so do you agree with the Rexrode that L'Jarius Sneed doesn't have the foggiest clue of who Nico Collins is heading into this matchup?
What number is
thoughts? 615-737-1025. Nico, who's that?
I mean, is Nico Collins good enough that, like, everybody, is he that good?
I played him twice
Clip that
last
up.
year, probably.
Yeah.
Well, seriously. I mean, he's good. He's a good player. Is he like a great player? Like everybody knows Tyreek Hill. Like everybody know Nico Collins?
I mean, he's probably
L'Jarius Sneed, no Tyreek Hill.
I mean, he's probably tier 2 wide receiver ones for sure. He's not tier 1. Yeah, but
Does L'Jarius
but
Sneed know who
he's the-
Calvin Ridley is?
I don't know. Probably not.
That's
Zero.
He knows.
He's got can't catch the ball.
Number,
Okay. All right.
number 0 on the other side. I usually let him just run free because he won't catch it.
Take your thoughts. 615-737-1025. This is the most lopsided cooking on the text line I've ever seen, and I'm enjoying the heck out of
Whatever.
it.
You're
Robby
all
and
wrong.
Rexrode, 1025 the game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Come at me.
We have people calling for Rexrode's firing. It ain't that serious. 615-737-1025. So Rexrode doesn't think L'Jarius Sneed knows who a single player in the NFL is. It's certainly not Nico Collins.
Tracy from Franklin. We've all known those guys. Joe is right. I've got support. You're saying that everybody's cooking me, and some people are.
You're getting cooked.
I'm getting that bad. Okay. Well, I would like to introduce, and I got Stilly talking about the stupidest take of all time.
Yeah.
Stilly, trying to say someone has the stupidest take of all time. Rand Carthon wasn't on the Christmas card. He's probably the dude who's getting fired. Stilly, trying to talk about the worst take of all time.
I mean, he got fired a couple weeks
A
later.
year? No, it was a year
Was
later.
that a year later? I can't keep up.
Yeah, that was the year Vrabel got fired, but he thought it was Rand.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Now,
Just foreshadowing.
let me just tell you something. I'm entering this into evidence, and I'd like to thank Sean Henry, President and CEO of the Nashville Predators. He comes in and texts. He says, I support you. Lawrence Taylor, Ricky Henderson. Two great examples of two of the best ever that literally didn't know the names of teams they played, let alone the players. Now, listen to this. This is brilliant, okay? He says, he's seen other examples, like hockey too, but here, there's three types of guys in the locker room. I've never heard this before. This is really good. He said the first are the servants that know every single player in the league, their exact stats, every player within 30 years of their career. The second are the ones that know every player in every league, regardless of sport, but they won't readily admit it. The third and the smaller group is the one you're describing that literally doesn't know another player in the league, oftentimes rarely knows their own teammates if they played less than 3 years together. I got Dane from Nolensville texting me, hey, remember when Ricky Henderson told John Olerud he used to – this is amazing. Ricky Henderson told John Olerud he used to play with the guy that wore a helmet on the field. Olerud's like, that was me, dude. I'm telling you, these people exist. I grew up with people who like
You just watch so much film in the NFL, though.
right, but dude, they talk in numbers. You got zero.
Can they read the name on the back of the jersey when they're seeing the
fine.
number?
But if you don't like watch your sport, follow your sport, play fantasy football, you just do your job, you're just better than everybody else, and you don't care, you have other interests. That's how you talk about people by their. I promise you, go with any defensive coordinator, presser. The D coordinators will usually use the names. Like players every week are like, yeah, we got to really watch 0. We got to watch 73. I'm telling you, linemen talking about pass rushers. Not saying they don't know their names, but in some cases they don't know their names. I just don't think Snead, regardless of this theory, which is very true, and thank you for validating me, Sean Henry, Dane from Nolensville, and others who live life and touch grass every once in a while and are just sitting on a text line ripping somebody. I appreciate that. But set that to the side. I strongly do not think that Snead was like intentionally talking trash here. I mean, I hope he was. That'd be awesome. I just don't think he was.
One texter says everyone's wrong on Snead. The reporter was soft-spoken in a loud locker room, and Snead didn't hear him the first time. That's the first two. When he sees all the reporters laughing, he just leaned into it at that point, and you could see it in his face. He just didn't hear the guy and then went with what everyone thought was fun.
I think there might be. It's the whole thing was weird. It was so fast. Like I kept watching it. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, who, what, who? I don't know. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Snead talked trash, and I hope he goes out there and says, Nico, who? When he comes out of the tunnel, great, give it to us. I think that L'Jarius Snead is absolutely the guy who like doesn't care about football.
I really can't wait to see this game on Sunday. I'm so fired up for L'Jarius Snead versus Nico Collins.
I mean, Deion Sanders.
Nico Collins just introducing himself after every catch he makes. Like, hi, I'm Nico.
Hey, by the way, here's what I agree with Rex. Thank you. Ben from Coleman City. Joe does have a point. Just listen to former players who become TV personalities. You can tell they don't know the game they just play. I mean, Deion Sanders. That Kevin Baird, you're a good fan, but you just pipe down.
We're
there,
getting
buddy.
in some real big gymnastics territory.
Yep, it's not gymnastics.
All the stretching going on out there.
This is my whole life. I've seen this, and again, it infuriates you. Like even like in high school, like it's like some of us who like really are into sports and are like I'm watching all the pros that try to be better, and then it's just like somebody who doesn't like sports at all who just crushes me. It's just
they've played against each other multiple times.
Sure.
So this is not like it's like some new guy out there.
No, I know. I understand. I mean, I don't know what happened there with the response, but I seriously, I would be willing to bet L'Jarius Sneed knows like 5 dudes in the league.
We should ask him one time. Hey,
I mean,
L'Jarius,
this would be a good
can
follow-up.
you name all of the football players that you know in this league by name, and they can't be on the Titans or the Chiefs. Let's
go with them too. I still think it's about 5.
Do you know who Travis Kelce is, L'Jarius?
Oh yeah,
it's like a running tally.
Oh yeah, 87. Yeah, he was annoying. He was almost as annoying as that 15's brother.
Like the first game, it'd probably be a welcome change for Brian Callahan after the game. Hey, Brian, does L'Jarius Sneed know anyone on your team? Does he know your name? Does L'Jarius Sneed know Callahan's name?
Jeremy Gover. Got to agree with Rexrode here. I remember being shocked when I first heard a Preds player tell me they didn't know they don't follow the sport outside the direct bubble. It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah, guys, there's a difference between not following the sport very closely out of your direct bubble and just like not knowing who anyone is. Like you cannot keep up with the day-to-day of the Calgary Flames if you're a Predators player and still have a general idea of who's on their team.
Yeah, general. But you know by numbers. That's what Sneed knows Nico by his number, man. I promise you. Now he may be looking at it from behind on Sunday, and then Nico will talk trash to him. And it's a good lesson of like never say who. If someone asks you about someone in the locker room, who the hell is that?
Who is that? What are you talking about? Is he a football player? Oh, okay.
But this is
good clarification.
But this is a real thing in life, and I hope some of you feel like you're a little bit more like your life is a little more enriched. Like Stilly, somebody who should touch grass every once in a while. I hope you're a little bit more enriched now. Learn about life.
Dennis says in college when I played, plenty of good players who were not baseball fans in the 90s. We were playing at the University of Tampa and said, this is where Tino Martinez played. And I had to explain to them who Tino Martinez was to several teammates, the first baseman of the world champion New York Yankees.
I mean, people have these stories, and it's just like, again, like there's nothing wrong with being great. If you're a great athlete, you're a great athlete, and not really liking your sport. Like it's allowed. It's just infuriating. I mean, this is,
Darius, this is a big game coming up on Sunday. I might need you to know who you're playing against, son. Please study the tape and know who you're playing against.
Fox Hunt as a
this is the only game I care about on the schedule down there in Houston.
You're welcome, Ben, by the way.
Somebody
requested Amy Adams Strunk voiceover for this situation. So you got one.
I would be willing to bet that she knows more players in the NFL than L'Jarius Sneed does.
I did not expect this conversation to go this way.
I
stand by. This is your worst take ever.
It's fine. I mean, this is a lifelong take. Like I saw this and I was like, I know this guy.
By the way, multiple people pointing out that Lawrence Taylor, which is one of the examples you've used here, was not always under the normal influence out there.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but like also like in the 80s, there was a Lawrence Taylor was not on an island. Like, let me promise you that, okay? Like even if you're under the influence of things, you're allowed to know people's names. Yeah. Who's that number 7 for Washington? I just broke his leg in half. Is that guy's name?
Well, the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Take your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Our phone number. Teron Davenport coming up at 8. We'll see if he thinks L'Jarius Sneed knows the name of anybody else in the league out there. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 the game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Why the fart were they booing me?
But last time I didn't receive a piece, and I was told that
Just pass.
I did not get a piece of the cake.
Did you try to kick an 85-yard field goal with Joey Sly out there?
Most of their time is spent on grass. I don't know that I have especially pointy nipples.
It's Friday.
It is that time of the day. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net.
We're just gonna keep going with this freaking awesome take by me. See, this is about life, people. Sometimes we talk about things that are bigger picture. Okay, for example, I'd like to thank Laverne on the text line. He says Robby doesn't get Joe's point. He hates when successful people in sports hate sports.
No, trust me. I get Joe's point.
I'm
well aware of what he's saying.
I think that is a very good way to put it. And you know, you're not properly representing the text line. Here's another one. Joe, you are spot on. Been following sports since the mid-'60s. There are plenty of instances where players don't follow what else is going on in their sport. Some people, even athletes, have a life outside of sports. Maybe not a lot of us that listen to sports talk radio 10 hours a day. Great take. Love the show. Thank you.
I
appreciate it.
Not apples to apples.
I don't know why we have to go from not following all the their sport for 10 hours a day equates to not knowing anybody's name or who anybody is.
I mean, so Nico Collins had 68 catches for 1,006 yards last year. He's good. He's a good player. He's had 2,000-yard seasons in his career. I think he's a good receiver. He's not a star. I like L'Jarius Sneed.
I mean, 2 years ago, he caught 109 passes for 1,300 yards.
Right. So he has 2,000-yard seasons in his career. Last year, he had 68 for 1,006. He's a very good player. He's not a star. He's number 12. L'Jarius Sneed knows him as 12. Now, 12 may cook him, and then 12 will talk trash about him after the game. But I'm looking forward to TD's thoughts on this. I have asked Karski. I said, do you think he was actually talking trash on purpose? He says, don't really know. Seemed like. Can you write a freaking sentence? Don't really know. Seemed like. Okay. And then
seems like he was talking trash.
And then I said, I think he knows nothing about the NFL and knows players by numbers. Possible. He said conceivable, not probable. Thanks, Paul. Whatever. He didn't trash my take, so yeah, I'll take it. Dustin from Hopkins says, I feel Joe is having wife and kids text and throwing life. Dude, it's not my wife and kids who are texting me. Sean Henry runs the Preds. He 100% agrees with my take. So, I mean, I feel like a guy who runs the Nashville Predators pretty smart. You tell me. I don't know. I don't run the Nashville. You run the Nashville Predators? I don't run the Nashville Predators. I would say whoever does that seems to be pretty smart. Been around sports for about 40 years. But whatever. I guess we know nothing.
Someone says, Joe, this is the dumbest thing of all time. They're in the same division. It's not like Nico plays for the Washington Commanders.
They have not. They have. I don't believe they have played it. Now that we were talking about this during the break, Sneed should have seen him
with the Chiefs.
Now that year when they played in the playoffs, I mean that year Nico had 37 catches of 481 yards. So he also only played 10 games. So he was hurt. So was he hurt in the playoffs? I don't know. Is it possible? Is it possible he's never seen Nico Collins?
I mean,
yes, it's possible.
I mean, my take keeps getting smarter and smarter, dude. I don't know what to tell you. So Al, who says, Rexrode's best worst take ever.
Okay, here we go.
Thanks.
Let's see.
I guess I'll take that.
Collins was sidelined with a foot injury in 2022.
Okay.
And did not play when Houston played Kansas City. So did not play.
My God. It's the first time. He'll know his name after this.
Sneed missed both matchups versus Houston last year.
Well, yeah, last year for sure. But like Houston and Kansas City saw each other a lot for their first stretch.
Yeah. I mean, Nico's only been in the league for 4 years. Yeah. So he had 33 catches as a rookie.
Well, this is his fifth year. But yeah.
Well, right. So there's 4 years before this.
Yeah.
Right. So now this is 5. Yes.
Yeah. So this is so he has now been in the league 5 years when it's your 5th year.
Yes, it's his 5th year.
I'm glad we clarified
the
that.
sentence I said was he'd been in the league for 4 years. That's the previous 4 years where they could have played. So apparently they never played. I mean, again, if you've never played the guy, he's good. He's not great. And you go, L'Jarius Sneed, this is the thing where Kaharski needs to back me up. These guys talk about number. They watch film.
You guys are acting like it's impossible to know numbers and names at the same time.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't possibly have
so.
the brain capacity to know both his number and his name at the same time.
No, I'm not saying it's impossible. If you follow the NFL, some of these guys play fantasy football, have 4 teams, and they know everybody. Some of these guys know, they know like the rookie on this team or that team. I mean, I'm on Ross St. Brown does a podcast. Like he knows everybody in the league. He's a huge like NFL like guy. He loves it. Dude, Sneed is the guy, is the opposite.
So if they just would have said, what do you think about your matchup versus 18?
Yeah, I think that's
He would have gone. He
12,
would have said, he would have given a legit answer, or would have gone, who?
I don't know. That's a great question. That's a good question. There's a better chance to be like, oh yeah, 18's pretty good. Yeah, 18. You got to watch 18 on the over route. I'm just saying.
Maybe we should change our approach in the locker room. Asking questions.
I swear to you, and I understand.
Well, first off, he's number 12, so let's get that.
Yeah, he's number 12. We said that already.
You said 18.
He said 18.
Maybe I just got.
I thought you were just saying
that.
that using
I
it
was
as
saying a number.
I thought you were just saying as an example.
Okay.
He wasn't. Yeah, we've said he's 12.
Okay.
Number 12.
Maybe we can't know the name and the number at the same time.
Well, you can. Some people would. Some people wouldn't. Again, if we're talking about this specific instance, I hope he was talking trash. I'm all for it. I don't need no one needs to defend L'Jarius Sneed. Talk that trash. Let's see what happens on the field. I watched that video. And he's like, who? I think that was genuine. I do. Like you serious? Okay. So again,
yes, me and most of the public think he was talking trash, Joe. I know this is a stunning thought. The guy in Houston asked him about it because he thought he was talking trash. He didn't ask him about it because he said, that guy doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, I understand what Houston. This is what everybody would do. Of course, they asked him about it. You watch that video and you think he's like, who?
Yes,
no,
I do.
Ridiculous.
I do.
I highly doubt that.
Let's
I hope so. I hope you guys are right.
We are. Don't worry.
Okay.
Let's head to our 102.5 The Game phone line. Welcome in Lorenzo to the program. Lorenzo, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning, guys. So let me challenge your thoughts on the L'Jarius Sneed as far as him saying who. Now, I would say just say if he didn't know Nico Collins. You know who I blame? There's 2 situations I blame. One, I would blame the coaching staff in practice, like when they're watching film, because Houston don't have many weapons on offense. So the name Nico should be said in the meeting room. And if the coaches wasn't really mentioning that a lot in film, then it's like that's a bad spot for the coaches because maybe they're not coaching to where they need to in the film room. Or L'Jarius Sneed might have been asleep in the meeting room. The coach is like, hey, you got to guard Nico. And then he might be asleep, not realize that.
This is not – okay, but this –
Nice sleep.
This is
Lorenzo.
This is
Sneed napping in the meeting room.
Hey, L'Jarius, wake up over there. Watching the film.
Why would you say Nico? It's 12.
Yeah.
Dude, if you go watch college or NBA basketball, I got 8. I got 15. Like, people talk numbers. You're watching films. You got to know his name. It's Nico.
L'Jarius, wake up.
Hey, do you know his middle name? You better know his middle name too. No, he's 12. This is what 12 does. I need TD. TD will back me up.
L'Jarius, get up. We're in the meeting.
That's my new favorite. That's what we're going to go with now. Sneed was asleep in the meeting.
There we go.
Lots of sleeping going on around the Titans. Either in the meeting, on the plane. Lots of sleeping around there.
That's true.
All right, we'll get TD with us.
Can't wait till we get after Sneed's gone. Kaharski tell us where he took naps.
We will actually talk about the game and the matchup as well with TD coming up next as well.
I suppose.
All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Friday morning. Looking ahead to the Titans and the Texans. And to help us do that, we head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Teron Davenport, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter. TD, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing awesome. We're sitting here screaming at each other at a break because we're dissecting every syllable and frame of the L'Jarius Sneed supposed trash talk earlier this week on Nico Collins. Where do you come down on this? Was L'Jarius Sneed talking trash to Nico Collins when he said, "Who? Who's that?"
Yeah. I think it was some trash talk because he's a competitor.
Well,
and
don't say it because Rexrode thinks it's the dumbest take ever.
I don't think he was talking trash on purpose.
No, he was talking trash.
Okay.
And I think, I wouldn't have done it, but it's just something, sometimes these guys that they do to get themselves hyped up, and I think when you look at Tony Oden, he spoke yesterday. That's the assistant DB coach who works exclusively with the corners. And he said that, as a group, they respect Nico Collins. They know who he is. He's a good player. And it was just one of those things that's a part of the mindset that they have where the guys who have the opposing jerseys on, they're nameless faces. And so it was along those lines. At least that's what Tony Alden said.
Yeah, apart from this situation, TD, these guys talking numbers, right? You've been covering the NFL for a long time. Most interviews with guys, unless you're talking about a significant player, it's like, 12 this, 83 does this, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
So, I watched, if that's Sneed talking trash on purpose, he sucks at talking trash. It was like this little who and like confused look, but hey, man, you were there, so that's fine. We'll say it's trash talk. What can the Titans do to win this game?
Man, it's a question that you guys ask every week, and we try to figure out what to say. I guess in this case, I think they need to run the football. You look at the pass rushers, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., those guys coming off the edge, they're going to cause problems. So really what you got to do, you got to run at them, and then you also have to have the quick passing game in order. And Cam Ward has to be able to work through the progressions quickly, which is something he said that he's been working to do better. And I think that's really the bottom line. And you look at defensively, more or less, it's just you got to take advantage of that offensive line. They have issues up front, and C.J. Stroud has struggled because of that. And it's really take away Nico Collins. And that's really what it's going to come down to, and make them find other people to step up in the passing game, and we'll see what happens.
So, TD, you mentioned running the ball there. It's obviously a very small sample size to this point. Pollard is averaging 3.6 yards a carry through the first 3 games. Doesn't look like they're getting a whole lot out of their running game right now. I think his long on the year so far is 11. How concerning is that? How much of that is to do with J.C. Latham not being on the field in your mind?
I think last week, it was a big deal, Latham not being out there, and also Zeitler too.
Yeah.
You got to remember that whole right side was, not guys that you normally have out there. So that was an issue. I think it has a lot to do with that. But it just, that offense, they can't find any rhythm whatsoever. So it's going to struggle all throughout.
So, TD, the young receivers, obviously there's some promise with Io Manor. DK has a lot of explosiveness. Do you feel like, DK can be a little bit more involved in this offense, or is he still going to just be sort of like the occasional, gadget guy, moving forward?
I think he's going to be kind of a blend of those, but I'm still waiting to see where they work that play action and they boot Ward to one side and they have him run that deep over route, which is something that he did so well at Florida from the slot position. That's what I want to see them do, but they haven't really been able to do that yet. And obviously, play action is only going to work once you kind of make it established that, you can run the ball effectively, which they haven't. So It's a mix of things. Right now, you look at the trick plays and stuff that they've been using to take advantage of the speed. It hasn't really popped, so they got to find another way.
So, TD, the Titans have been a circus to this point, as you well know, and it has resulted in Bo Hardegree, now the play caller for the Tennessee Titans. So as he steps into the play calling role on Sunday in Houston, what intrigues you the most about that? What are you maybe looking to see them do more that they haven't done enough to this point? How do you come down on the Bo Hardegree part of this?
Yeah, I want to see the rhythm. I want to see how they get into the flow of the game and just have the offense kind of match up, like marry the run game and the passing game and layer plays to where, you're doing something to see how the defense reacts and you see how they react and you take advantage of that. I think that's something that's been lacking for the most part. So if they could find a way to do that, they could be effective. I mean, they have good players. I mean, it's not like they're void of weapons. Iron Manor is legit. Ridley, as he works through his things, he's eventually going to pop back out. And, next week they'll have Spears. So that's going to be good. So we'll see what happens.
So with Callahan passing this off, TD, obviously it seems like, game operation is a huge thing that has been lacking. So, okay, you hope that would improve, that he wouldn't make these big gaffes in a game. Is there anything else where now that he doesn't do this, that he will add on or that can help benefit this team because he has turned this or because he's been forced to turn this over to Hardegree?
Yeah. And I actually wrote about this. It posted this morning because one of the things that Denard Wilson was talking about was, Brian Callahan being in the meetings, some of the defensive meetings and them talking as well and him telling Denard, like, hey, offensively, this is the way a team will probably attack what you're doing. So that's a benefit just from a preparation standpoint. We'll see on the field, but I think for the most part, it just is allowing him to take a step back. He delegated, the play calling duties to someone that he's confident in. And I think you look at the last time Bo Hardegree was in this situation, you saw the Raiders, their points per game, it increased to 22 points from 15. So you're talking about a whole touchdown, and that was with Aiden Hutchinson as the quarterback, and they dropped 63 on the Chargers in 2023. So I think, he's taking a step back just to kind of better oversee things. I'm curious how that process is going to be, that the relay of information right before the call is given to Ward, because already with just Callahan calling the plays, the plays are getting in there a little bit later, and he's trying to get to the line of scrimmage with some time to orchestrate some things and make some checks. And it's been tough. There are times where it's gotten in too late and they weren't able to do it.
So, TD, we've all heard of the, unstoppable force versus the immovable object. I like to term it this week, the stoppable force of the Texans offensive line versus the movable object of the Titans pass rush. Who does this matchup benefit here?
I kind of, I'm gonna yield to the Titans just because of Jeffrey Simmons, and he's quietly playing like really, really good football.
He is.
The sacks aren't coming, and this team is, they're second to last with, I think, like 2 sacks or something crazy like that. But yeah, I'll go with the Titans D line.
Speaking of Simmons, TD, obviously you get the Brownlee move this week, which is separate from, the trading deadline, but it's a few weeks away. If things continue on this path, we're going to be talking about some of these guys, some of these veterans possibly being moved out of here. And we've talked about Simmons before. Do you think that is, like you said, he's playing really well. He got in better shape this year. He has more good football ahead of him, but you could get something significant for him. Do you think that that's seriously on the table potentially if things keep going the way they're going? And if so, what do you think that a Simmons could bring back?
Yeah, I'd say probably a second, but I wouldn't say anything is off the table. Honestly, I don't know of anything brewing in the background. Obviously, he's not happy with the losing, but he's not at a point where he will want to leave. He's not going to lobby for it or anything like that. But I mean, who knows? Like, what if Dallas, comes and because Jeff, he stays in Dallas during the off season. What if Dallas comes calling? And Jerry Jones has been known to make some decisions that don't always jive with where everyone else is. So maybe he offers a first, and then I'm sure Borgonzi and the crew, they got to consider it. But to me, it's just, if you get a first round pick, and you draft a guy in the first round, you want him to develop into what? A Jeffrey Simmons level player. So I don't know. I guess it's something that we'll see. Jake and I yesterday on the show, we did a projection of who we thought would be on the team in 2027. And Simmons wasn't a guy that either of us came up with. So maybe that will facilitate that, comment that we made becoming true.
So, TD, we got Derek Stingley Jr. dealing with an injury this week. We know the struggles of Calvin Ridley to this point in the season. How big a week is this for him in terms of a response of putting whatever your best is out there? And if he struggles again and he's not a positive factor in this game for the Titans and their offense, what does that tell you about where he is and where this thing may be headed?
Yeah, it's a week where he has to turn things around. There's no other way to put it. And you remember what happened last year. He found an opportunity to make things happen in that Detroit game. And there's a saying, right? The only thing that follows hard work is success. And he's been working really hard and trying some different things, catching the tennis balls off the lobster machine. And I don't know if you guys saw the glasses that I posted.
Oh, yeah.
That's comical, remember the Titans type of stuff. But it is what it is. You do what you got to do. I have seen him on the jugs machine catching footballs and stuff, and it's just a concentration thing, and that's where he's struggling. We talked a little bit about that, and he said he does just have to lock in, and that's really what it boils down to.
Well, TD, great stuff, man. Looking forward to the game coming up this weekend. Have fun down there in Houston, and we will talk to you next week.
All right, appreciate it. Go Met.
There we go. Teron Davenport, presented by Bart Durham Injury Law. We'll react to what TD had to say. Your thoughts on the Titans and Texans. We got Pigskin Pick'em coming up at 8:30 here on the program. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Tomorrow's college football game of the week, Oregon taking on Penn State at 6:30 on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants and Circa Sportsbook Kentucky. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. This Sunday, NFL game of the week on 94.9 The Fan. Packers taking on the Cowboys at 7:20 on Sunday. NFL game of the week presented by Circa Sportsbook Kentucky and Macero in 12 South. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. Appreciate TD for being with us in the last segment. Houston taking on the Tennessee Titans, a battle of the beatens. 0 wins involved in this matchup coming up on Sunday. Joe, I'm going to ask you the same thing I just asked TD. Ridley's been awful so far this year. He has not played well. He can't catch football right now. He had what we thought was a great connection with Cam Ward heading into the year after training camp, and it has not gone well for him to this point. Derek Stingley Jr. may not be playing in this game, which, by the way, could be massive for the Titans offense because he's a very, very good player. But let's even take that out of it. Let's say he's playing, he's not playing, whatever it is. How important is this week for a response from Ridley in terms of obviously catching the football when it's thrown your way, but being productive, like being the number one wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans? He has not lived up to that, not even close so far this year. How important is it? And if he doesn't do it, if it's week 4 in a row of him just being a guy out there, much less all the drops and all that other stuff, what does that mean? What does that tell you about where he's at right now?
Well, I mean, I think he still gets open and has demonstrated being a dangerous weapon at times. He's dropped some passes that you cannot drop. He's had some drops attributed to him that, I might say maybe Cam put a little much on it or whatever. I mean, ultimately, if you're going to be a wide receiver one, you have to come away with most of those. Last year Ridley was like invisible at this point of the year. We're saying the same stuff, except it was like there was one game where he had all these targets and no catches.
I think it was like week 4 or 5 against the Colts last year where he had 8 targets and no catches.
And then eventually, he started to come along and make plays. And so, I mean, yeah, it needs to happen soon. I'm guessing Stingley's not playing. Just
doesn't look like it.
And that is, he might be. I mean, is he the best corner in the league? I mean, it's pretty close.
He's right up there.
He's pretty close. So, and
by the way, we've already seen him in one matchup this year talking about Ridley, where it's been him and Surtain, and it did not go well for Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, the top guys that take on the Titans. I mean, like if Ridley, when you're traveling with somebody and you're playing man, if Ridley is the toughest, then that's a break compared to a lot of weeks, right? But if you're Ridley and you get a break and don't have to deal with a Stingley, I mean that should mean something. That should mean more production. That should mean more opportunities. I mean, to me, it means less man from Houston. So, you should be able to find some holes in the zone coverages and make plays. I mean, it's totally different between Ward and Ridley leading into the year with all the talk of their chemistry, whereas Levis and Ridley was like all the talk of the lack of chemistry, but then it's not paying off on Sunday. So, yeah, if it doesn't happen, and again, to the point of the larger discussion about moving guys, it would be good for the Titans to have Ridley produce and make himself more of a viable chip to possibly move. Although I would still wonder about doing that and doing anything that's going to make life even harder on Cam Ward in the second half of the year.
By the way, on the Titans front, Latham has not practiced this week so far. So it looks like a third straight game that he's going to miss. And I mean, when you factor in the game that he played, he's barely played this year. Like the hip injury is looking, Joe, like it's exactly what we thought and we're scared of, which is something that can linger for a while. And here we are, week 4, and doesn't look like he's going to be available again this week, which against this opponent is just not good.
No, very not good. Yeah, it'd be shocking, if he played. So now we're getting into, unless he is able to play next week, and it's like, you could have gone on IR. I know PK gets, who cares, IR or not. But I'm just saying, usually when you don't do that, what you're telling your fans, like the expectation is, okay, well, then he will be back within earlier than that window, right? I mean, the thing about IR does is it takes away public expectation of a guy getting healthy, which is like a big, it's like a big thing for Vrabel. Like, that's why he never talked about injuries. Like, then someone doesn't come back a week later and the fans are all mad at him. I get that to a point. So that's why that's part of why you put a guy in IR. Let's take away all the weekly talk about whether he can play or not. So, but the fact that he's not even limited this week at all, there's just nothing. Yeah, doesn't bode well.
By the way, Zeitler has been limited the last 2 days with the bicep. So,
but at least he's out there.
At least he's out there, and I guess we'll find out hopefully his status later today out there at Titans practice. Let's head to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Adam in Portland to the program. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm just giving so I picked us to win this week, and I'm actually picking us to win. I'm picking us to win the next 3 games. And I know it sounds crazy as hell.
You're right.
But especially when you take away a huge problem, sometimes it lights a fire. And because if we just had competent head coach, and there's a good chance we're 2-1, or at the very least 1-2 heading into this game. I don't think the next 3 teams are good. I think Arizona's probably the toughest game, but I still don't think they're very good. And then you'd be 3-3 coming back against Vrabel. Plus, I'm still on the Fire Callahan bandwagon like the hardest. I'm leading that charge. But this would screw that up for me, and that's what the Titans usually do, is do something that's not what I want. So they'll probably win the next 3 and then lose the rest of the games. But I'm picking us to win the next 2 games.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate the call.
Wow.
3-0 coming for the Titans.
I mean,
it all starts with 1.
So it's like, as far as I know, Adam is lowest on Brian Callahan of the entire fan base. Like, actually thinks he's Rich Kotite. So like that I guess that speaks well. Adam must like the team really a lot, right?
I guess.
Like, he must be like higher on the roster than everybody if you think they're going to win 3 in a row.
I guess.
I hope you're right, Adam.
Can they win 1?
Yeah.
I think I'd sign up for 1 out of the 3 right now. I'd be like, yeah, give them. Just let's get a win in here some way, somehow.
At this point, I'd be somewhat surprised if that were the case, but maybe I'm too down on them.
I still think the Texans, out of the next 3 opponents, I still think the Texans, even at 0-3, are the toughest ones. Maybe that's just because I've got some mental image of the Texans of what I think they are versus what they actually are. But I still think the Texans have the pieces to put more together than the other 2 teams. Well, Arizona and Vegas are about to play.
I just think it's a terrible matchup for Tennessee because the weakness of the Texans, you don't have what it takes to take advantage of it.
Correct.
The weakness of the Texans is their pass protection, and you don't – it will look fine against you unless you pressure. And then the strength of the Texans goes right to your weakness.
Right.
Just the pass rush situation, pass protection on both sides, and then not on top of just being in Houston, on top of Stroud. I don't like this. I don't like this matchup at all for the Titans. But who had them winning last year?
Motivational speech coming from Amy before the game?
I don't know. Did she ever do that?
I don't know. But I figured if she was going to, Houston would be the one.
Yeah. I mean, at least I'm confident she'll be at the game. So, I mean, that's a good thing.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
We got Pigskin Pick'em coming up next. Huge weekend in both the NFL and in college football. We got some enormous matchups. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Now, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is time for Pigskin Pick'em here on 102.5 The Game. The standings update in the competition. Rexrode the best week last week, 3-3 with his lock. I went 3-3, no lock. Ian Safar, after being maybe the greatest participant in this competition of all time. Tough week last week, 2-4, no lock.
Finally.
Back down to earth a little bit, which brings the overall standings. Ian Safar, 16-8, 3-1 on his locks, 19 points. Joe Rexrode, 11-13 overall, 4-0, perfect, 4-0 on his locks, 15 points. Robby Stanley, 13-11, 0-4 on the locks, good for 13 points. So we begin with Utah State and Vanderbilt coming up tomorrow here in Nashville. Vanderbilt, a 22.5-point favorite against Utah State. Ian, you are in first, so you go first. Who we got between Utah State and Vanderbilt?
This is a tough game. I think I'm actually going to take Utah State to cover the 22.5. Maybe Vandy has covered so far, I believe, every game.
They have.
Big game next week versus Alabama. They were ready to play against Georgia State, given they lost last season. I think I'm going to take Utah State to get a late cover, 22.5.
There you go. Going to Utah State plus 22.5. Joe, I think I know where you're going, but Vanderbilt favored by 22.5.
Utah State lock. This will be a one possession game in the fourth quarter. It is a dangerous game for Vanderbilt. I think they'll win. I think they'll get a score late to get a little bit of separation, but I think 22.5 is crazy. I really do. Vanderbilt's defense has had some terrific stretches this year, and they've had some questionable stretches too, actually including decent chunks of last week if you watch the game. So, yeah, I think Utah State's going to make this way less comfortable than people think.
Give me Vanderbilt minus the 22.5. They win by about 24 in this game. The Doors are on a mission. Doors are on a mission. Good. I think Clark Lee's got them bought in. I think he's not allowing them to look too far ahead to Alabama. I think Diego Pavia and company, that offense will continue to roll. Give me Vanderbilt minus the 22.5, taking on Utah State tomorrow. Another game in the SEC locally. Tennessee taking on Mississippi State on the road. Vols a 7.5-point favorite on the road in Starkville. Joe Rexrode, who we got between the Vols and the Bulldogs?
Yeah, I like the Vols. I think they'll cover this. I think they'll win by about 10 to 14 points, something like that. I think I think Mississippi State will have some offensive success, score some points, but ultimately I just don't see Mississippi State stopping Tennessee much. So I think I might even be a little low on 10 to 14, more like 14 to 17.
I will go Tennessee minus the 7.5. I think they win by 17 points. I will go Tennessee, comfortable victory on the road against Mississippi State. Ian Safar, who we got between Tennessee and Mississippi State?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Tennessee as well. On the road, Mississippi State's had a good season so far, maybe a surprising start to some, but I'll take the Vols to cover the 7.5.
Alabama and Georgia coming up tomorrow. A huge game in college football. A huge game, particularly for Alabama on the road, taking on the Bulldogs. Georgia, a 2.5-point favorite in this matchup. I'm surprised by that line. I'll go first. Give me Georgia minus the 2.5 in this. I just think that Gunnar Stockton rose to the occasion. Last time we saw him against Tennessee, I think he played well. I think he'll do it again tomorrow. So give me Georgia minus the 2.5 against Alabama. Ian Safar, Georgia, Bama.
I think I'm going to go with Georgia. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. The 2.5 and the home streak, at some point it's going to go down. Bama has their number, like we mentioned earlier in the show. But I'll just because they're home, I'll take Georgia by a field goal.
Joe Rexrode, Georgia favored by 2.5 at home against Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, we're making a clean sweep. I think they're going to win. I hope Alabama is competitive and Alabama has figured some things out. They still have a lot of talent. I like Ty Simpson. I think he's a good QB, but in Athens, I think Georgia wins by 10-ish.
I would advise them to throw the ball to Ryan Williams tomorrow. Worked out well for him last year in that game.
Yes, it did.
We'll see if it happens again tomorrow. The Titans on the road, taking on the Houston Texans on Sunday. Houston, winless. Titans, winless. Houston, a 7.5-point favorite. Ian Safar, who we got? in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible matchup for the Titans, except for the Texans' defensive line. And so that could be a problem. The Titans trying to block them. Their offense has not been great. Other than Collins, there's not a whole lot on the outside. If Snead can, play well, maybe that can help slow it down a little bit. Houston's running game is not that great. Mixon's been out the whole season. They don't really, I can't even think of the running back off the top of my head. Yeah, Chubb.
And he's actually looking,
some other
pretty well.
I can't remember the third down guy. So they have been struggling, and for them to be 7.5-point favorites, given how bad they've played, but I'm still going to take the Texans 7.5. Give me that.
Go with the Texans minus the 7.5. Joe Rexrode, who we got?
Yeah, I'm kind of regretful that I used my lockup already. Texans are going to kick the crap out of the Titans. I'm sorry. It's just that simple.
Titans are dead to me after last week. I went out on a limb for them. I was confident in them. Picked them to beat the Colts. And how did they reward me? Their coach made moronic decisions before the half, and they got killed in the game. I'm done picking the Tennessee Titans. Give me the Texans minus the 7.5 in this matchup. I'm not, however, making my lock, although I want to. Not going to do it.
Well, we got a lot of the same picks this week.
We do. All right, the individual portion of the program. Joe Rexrode, your first individual selection.
So here's another one that I kind of wish I made my lock. But I'm very confident in this pick, and I'm sorry, Indy, Ben, and all you guys. Colts at Rams minus 3.5. All day. They're the Colts. The Colts were bound to come down to earth. The Titans are just not the team to do it, but the Rams are.
Rams minus 3.5 against the Colts coming up.
I thought about that one for sure.
I did too. Give me the Green Bay Packers minus 6.5 against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I'm making my lock. I'm nervous about this one because everything on paper and the injury situation and everything for the Cowboys suggests that Green Bay should probably win this game by about 30, which makes me incredibly nervous heading into it. But I think they'll respond. Micah Parsons is going to be unstoppable in this game. So give me Packers minus 6.5, locking down against the Cowboys. Ian Safar, your first individual selection.
Okay, I'm going to go to college football for my lock. Penn State, Oregon. Lockdown under 52.5.
Those over-under locks, man. You're not scared away from those yet.
Not yet.
Under on the 52.5.
Penn State at
Penn
Oregon.
State and Oregon.
Night game.
Coming up.
Okay.
Night game. Oregon on the road. Whiteout.
Let's go Dante Moore and Drew Aller. Light it up, baby.
Spin that ball around out there.
Let's go, offenses.
My final individual selection. I'm looking forward to this game a lot coming up this weekend, even though it's probably not in my top 5 of overall games I want to watch. Give me LSU plus 1.5 against Ole Miss. It's basically a pick 'em. I think LSU gets the win on the road. So I'll take LSU plus the 1.5 against Ole Miss. Ian Safar, your final individual selection.
Yeah, this one I was a little bit iffy on since it's the doubling game, but I'll take Minnesota minus the 2.5 against the Steelers.
Going Vikings minus 2.5 over in Ireland against the Steelers. Joe Rexrode, your final individual selection.
Looking at BYU at Colorado, or Colorado, if you're Joel Klatt. He did play quarterback there. Yeah, I've Colorado's at home getting 6.5. I think BYU is going to go in there and put a thumping on them. Colorado's pretty bad. BYU's pretty good. Give me BYU and giving the 6.5 on the road.
BYU minus 6.5 against Colorado on the road. What do we think this is going to mean for Deion? They're pretty bad this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought he'd be out of there already. I don't know. It's a good question. Then there was, when things were going well, it's like, okay, what program is going to steal him away? He's obviously hung in there. I give him credit for that. If you're Colorado, again, he's taken you from arguably the worst Power 4 program. Like you were right in there with the top handful of the worst. And he has brought relevance and all this stuff. The recruiting is going okay for them. So I don't know. It's a good question. But yeah, I think making a bowl game this year for Colorado would be fine. Like that would be a decent outcome given what they have.
Wes in Clarksville says, I think the Titans and Texans will both still be winless after this week. Call shot. They're going to tie.
Oh,
that's what we need. Let's get a tie around here.
That would be a very fitting outcome for this game. Unfortunately,
Send that sucker to overtime and let's watch more of it.
Yeah, exactly. We want extra Texans. Yeah, I just really don't think it's going to be competitive. And again, I'm here for the Titans to to prove me wrong.
No extra juice with the play calling change?
I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. What if they do? What if they do have a great offensive day, and everything comes together, and they win? Like, is it like, oh, good?
What does that mean for Callahan?
Yeah, like is that? I mean, it's obviously better for him than to lose
for sure.
But it's also like, that's
like, so the only thing they had to do to look good on offense was just totally remove yourself from the play calling situation.
So the thing that you love most, and is get you away from that, and also your handpicked OC, bypass him.
Yeah.
So does all the credit go to Bo Hardegree? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Titans would love to find out, and Titans fans would love to find out too. Like, I don't know, but at least there's something beyond or beside just ripping a head coach for missing basic things in a game.
Got a big weekend of football coming up. We'll give our final thoughts on it coming up next. DVD with Willie Donick, Derek Mason, and Adam Vingan will be broadcasting live from 3 to 6 at Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse today as they celebrate the opening of their all-new rooftop dining area and bar. Also a great place to go before and after Vanderbilt games. So make sure you keep that in mind tomorrow as well. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Got some tickets to give away to the Music City Madness as Tennessee takes on Illinois at Bridgestone Arena. Coming up on Saturday, December the 6th. Be caller 3-615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Also, make sure you check out Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall this Monday prior to the Monday Night Football game. Head on up there, watch the Jets and the Dolphins. Yay. And the Bengals and the Broncos. Plus, ask about Circus giveaway for a trip to Las Vegas for the Titans and Raiders game coming up in October as well.
All right, I've done some reporting.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I realize that my take today, I'm sure Stilly will spend an hour on it, and that's fine. Now, I contend there are two parts of the take. I 100% believe Snead is the guy I talked about, and that guy exists. Okay. That guy exists.
I'm with you there.
Now, it doesn't mean he wasn't talking trash. But I also would say to you, Robby, that you hit me with the 2 + 2 = 4. This is still subjective, right? Can we agree this is subjective?
That was a little far.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's fine.
That was off the air, though.
No. Yes. But
okay.
I mean, it was
mean.
Yeah, you got me pretty good. But
Mean-spirited.
Okay, I threw this out at a bunch of people who cover the Titans. And I just said, do you think he was intentionally talking trash? Gentry. I thought so at the time, but who knows with that guy. Andrew, yes. Nick Suss, maybe not like malicious trash, but I definitely think he knew what he was doing. Like I said with Kaharski, don't really know, seemed like.
Thanks, Paul.
Teresa is ghosting me. And Terry McCormick says, I kind of think he was. If he wasn't initially, he then played it off like that when people started laughing. But your point is valid. Jarrell Casey was famously a non-football follower. Look, I still watch the video, and I'm like, I just think he's like, seriously, who? But you know what? You guys may be right. Everybody, TD said yes. So this is what I expect. I expect Nico Collins to cook him. I know he thinks he was talking trash. We know that. There's no question.
Know that.
I expect him to cook him. I expect Nico Collins to talk trash about it after the game. And I'm very interested to hear what Snead says about it afterward. Now,
if anything, is anybody going to be in the locker room? Is the coach going to show up to the podium quick enough for somebody to find out?
Well, that's true. But I put it to all of you who are going to be in Houston. I mean, it's an obvious thing. Like, you're going to follow up. Because I do. Like, I watch the video, and I watch it differently than you guys. But also, not being there is a different deal. So, just saying. I'm fine being cooked on the take. I may be totally wrong, but I really do believe my theory about great athletes who don't like sports. I've lived with it my entire life, and I don't think, and I also believe, like, these guys talk about people in numbers. But
you know what the funniest part about all this is? We got legitimately mad at each other over the dumbest thing ever. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't think it's like. Even when I first saw,
we were screaming at each other between 7:56 and 8 o'clock. Like, Ian was looking here like, "Are you guys all right in there? Everything okay?"
It'd be like those Houston guys are just sitting there like,
"Oh yeah, I forgot about that,
bitch." That's what he did. Just like they finally, I was like, they're just gonna throw hands. Yeah, I mean, I when Kaharski put it out there, like, my initial thought was like, really, Kaharski? I guess I've seen guys say who, but I guess the second one, I guess it seems like maybe he was kind of like,
he's
playing to the crowd.
Yeah.
So that's the case. Hey, man, well, you deserve what you
better go play
Sunday. Well. Yeah, better go play well. I mean,
what if he just goes out there and just totally shuts him down?
I've seen
Nico Collins. You're not getting anything done today, baby.
Yeah, that'd be impressive. I've seen. Who the heck was it? Was it Parrish Cox? I remember, like actually shut down DeAndre Hopkins when Hopkins was like the best receiver in the league. Yeah. It was insane. I was like, how is this? But of course, it was also, what's his name at QB? Who the heck?
Was it Osweiler?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God. What a huge signing for the Texans.
Yeah. Talk about a guy that made himself a lot of money off about 4 games.
A couple okay games. Yeah.
Him and Matt Flynn, baby. Made himself some money.
Yeah, when you play the Lions, you can make yourself a lot of money.
Jared on the YouTube chat, very upset at you that you're not Vandy Joe anymore. You're taking Utah State to cover.
Oh,
it's a 1-possession game toward the end of the game.
I'm taking Vandy to win, But I really am. I'm a little bit stunned by that line. I really am. I mean, if you look at what Utah State has done, they're not bad. And I just, maybe Vanderbilt will just go up and down the field on them like they did against Georgia State. I mean, they're going to score a lot of points. I think they're going to win. I think their defense is going to be challenged. And I still, even though they had the great second half against Virginia Tech, and they had the great second half against South Carolina, but again, that is without the quarterback, right? I think there's a little bit possibly of fool's gold with the Vanderbilt defense. And this week we'll see. Obviously, next week, I think, next week, if they're going to go win in Tuscaloosa, they're going to require some good defense. Is going to have but Pavia is going to have to be like, you gotta put a number on this board, And so I do think that might be exposed a little bit tomorrow. I'm sorry, Jared.
If Georgia does,
not Jared Stillman, Jared Morris.
If Georgia says if they do what you think they're going to do, and that is win by 10, thereabouts, what does that mean for Kalen DeBoer in Alabama if it plays out that way?
Well, they're going to be desperate, and they're already pissed at Vanderbilt about last year. But also, the negativity. Losing at Georgia on its face is not the end of the world, but you already are in such a hole. Now it's like you have no more margin for error. We'll get right back to the Kalen DeBoer stuff. I think that's just a better scenario for Vanderbilt, to go in there and have a team that's wobbly a little bit, as opposed to a team that's like, okay, we just won at Georgia. We're fine. Bad opener. We're fine. The confidence is high, and you carry that on. I think if you're a Vanderbilt fan, sometimes this is not the case. It's the opposite, but I think you should be rooting hard for Georgia.
Let me tell you one thing we better not be talking about on Monday morning when we come in here, beyond the awfulness of the Titans and the Texans. Better not be talking about Tennessee going on the road and screwing up a road game in Mississippi State. You can't have it. You got to, we'll see later in the year, what does Florida look like by the time you get there? I mean, obviously going on the road to Alabama is going to be a challenging environment. They got Arkansas coming in a couple weeks at home. We'll see what that looks like. But, Mississippi State's a good story so far. I think they're clearly improved from year 1 to year 2 under Jeff Lebby. It's a game you need to go handle if you're Tennessee and Josh Heupel.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm pretty confident that they will. Are there any common threads in these, in these road failures? I think stodgy offense, even Missouri ran all over them, but I still think their offense, eventually the defense buckled because of the offense. I think that's been the thing the last 2 years.
Yes.
They had a terrible defensive night against Florida, not tackling, stuff like that. So, I mean, there are different things that have popped up. But I just think when your offense – they've also had road games in the Heupel era where they've gone out and just destroyed people on the road when they're off in 21 and 22, even in 21. And I think the offense just brings that confidence, even without their corners, plus getting Moy back. I think they're going to be all right.
I'm looking forward to L'Jarius Sneed and Nico Collins on Sunday. It's the only thing I care about in this game now.
Who?
I don't care about Cam Ward, nothing else. Give me Sneed and Collins on Sunday.
12 against 38. No names required.
Hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.